Hey guys, so we just saw Joker 2, and I will say personally, off the bat, just for me, I don't think it's as bad as the reviews were saying it was.
No, same, yeah.
Which I know you're probably surprised about, Kyle. I didn't say anything to you afterward, but I didn't think it was as bad. I think I know the whole musical, not musical debate is like, for me, most regular films don't have music. This had like 4 or 5 musical numbers. I'd say it was musical. I think that a lot of those, like, although they kind of seemed like spontaneous and you're like, oh, what's happening? It's just not really adding much. I think in the end, I can see what they're going for. Like, so it's very different from the first one, but I do think that they did have some reason to be there. And with what Harley did with him in the end, just kind of really fucking him over. And then at the end, he's like, oh, like, he was talking to her on the stairs and then she kept singing and he was like, shut up, like, don't sing. I think that kind of like spelled it out. Like he basically wanted someone to care about him. And when he got that chance, like she kind of just basically like was in love with the Joker and not Arthur. And that is like, I guess, just a metaphor for the whole movie or whatever. Like,
yeah, it's a folie, a shared delusion.
I think that is fine. I don't think as much as the first one.
Yeah.
But I would say overall for me, I don't think we didn't review the first one like 5 years ago. But I'd probably give it like, I don't know what I said, like 7.5 or something like that. I would say it's fine. I would probably see it again. So and his acting was insane, which is hard for me to like even look past because good.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. I don't know how you feel. I know you said you didn't like it, Kyle.
Do you want me to go next? I have nothing nice to say, so I don't know if you want me to go next or someone else wants to go next. Or
I mean, I was pretty much going to say the same thing as you. I mean, like, if I had to rate it, probably like, I don't know, like a 7, maybe 6.5. I didn't really like it, though.
I'm probably going to be the last positive review about this movie, so let me know if we say that now or stagger it after.
You know it.
Okay, so, if Joker 1 is Party Rock, then Joker 2, Folie Deux, would be Sorry for Party Rockin'. I actually really like this movie. Like, I will say I really like the whole, like, meta angle of the first movie. Like, I like how they established at the beginning of the movie that, like, the Joker 1 was a movie that Harley Quinn watched and everyone watched. Like, that's why she did, like, the gunshot thing, is because it was in the fucking movie. She's, like, an actual Joker head. And, like, I like that, like, the musical elements, I kind of like, I think it explained it pretty well because, like, in the beginning of the movie, it kind of has like a fantasy moment, but it doesn't have music. It only has music when he like meets up with like Lady Gaga, and she's like in the music too. So like now, like what would previously just be like him on a show, like fantasy, is now him doing a musical with her. It's like their shared delusion. And like I really liked how they set up like like the Joker isn't good for him. Like she causes like a Joker relapse, and like there's all these Joker heads like egging him on for the Joker thing. But like at the end of the day, like the movie's really about like Arthur Fleck and like how like the Joker's fucking him just as much as everyone else. And like I really like that angle. Like I don't know, like I enjoyed it a lot. The performances across the board I thought were pretty good. Like there's some people that are like whatever, but like fucking Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga were both good. The therapist was like really good. Harvey Dent was like a decent like actor too, and like there's just a lot of really good performances across the board, and like that's good acting in movies, like definitely a huge plus for me. But like I really like Joker 2. I'd probably give it like 7.5 out of 10, like maybe 8 out of 10 if I was being really generous. But I'd say 7.5 is like where I'm gonna say. Like I enjoyed it. It like when it first started out, there's just gonna be like some like pro 2024 ass Hot Topic movie, but like they made it work. They made it work. It was just kind of like the Joker's, like what he would think a musical was, and they did it. They did it.
That's a good way to put it.
All right, Kyle, let's say it on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I hate this movie.
I have I don't think you want me to go next, Josh.
You can go next.
I hated this movie. Every time I looked at my watch, which was like every 5 to 10 minutes, I was like, man, this shit sucks. I hope they don't start fucking singing. And then they started singing, like right on cue. And I don't know, I liked the first movie a lot. And from what I can gather from the interviews and the press on this, was like the movie was written and filmed to punish a small section of fans that actually identified or had some kind of resonation with the Joker in the first. And that's just not how you go about making a movie. You don't make a movie to, in my opinion at least, to piss off 10% of the fan base when the 90% of the people who liked the first one just liked it because it was a good movie and it was entertaining. It was beautifully directed and shot. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Just from the trailer alone, I think every scene was lit very well. The performances were great. Gary Puddles was awesome, like on the stand. He was probably the best, gave the best performance in the movie. But I feel like somehow there was no story, but it was also convoluted at the same time. So I don't know. Like, I have really nothing positive to say about the movie other than the production aspect.
So worse than Long Legs? Is that what you're saying right now?
I had a better time watching Long Legs for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I would give Long Legs a 4. I would give this like a 3.
There you go.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, fair enough.
What about you, Josh? Why'd you hate it?
I think we hated it for different reasons, actually, which is kind of funny to think about. I didn't like it because there's a lot of things thematically that I feel like I can go on just tangents on that are just, I think, really problematic or just very not where, at least I feel like whatever your statements are you're trying to make with a movie should be. But don't get me wrong, I get it. You're writing a movie about a villain. That's fine. That's everything's okay with that. However, in a different sense, I guess for you, Kyle, as well, I hated the first Joker as well, just because how it deals with just things like thematically and themes like mental health or just like different types of things that it deals with and touches upon were not handled, I think, to the best ability, or at the very least, like the understanding of these concepts were not really thought out. It was kind of just the bare bones of like a society, really, just leaving a man. It's like you could have done that without like touching all of these different topics. With that being said, again, because I did not like this one, singing I had no problem with. The only problem I had with the singing was that just different moments of it are not, for me at least, what a musical is supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to use song elements to convey like how much a character is feeling in a different thing. I guess that's the topic of like, is it a musical or is it not a musical? For me personally, it's a movie that has music in it. I wouldn't classify it as a musical. With that said, there's just things I disagree with thematically about this movie. And I think I just disagree with Todd Phillips as a person in general, which unfortunately, I think just clouds my judgment on that, or at the very least, is a barrier that makes me like irrefutable to trying to give this movie any merit, because I see just where there are positions he is taking, or at least whatever he's trying to put in his movies of his mindset, because that's what the first Joker was, and you kind of can't ignore that if you go into the sequel. It's like, okay, well, what is he trying to say with this movie? And what questions is he presenting with this movie? Or was he trying to convey? And I just can't get behind that, because it's just really, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things about like talking about spoilers or things. There's just things about it.
Oh, we already faced this one.
That's fine. But it's also just like it's a lot of things I disagree with in this movie. Anyway, Joker 2, I think I'd give it like a 2. 2 for Joker Folie à deux. Yeah.
I mean,
This is the most
like whole musical numbers not being important to the story, because like I feel like they play during like stages of like Lady Gaga and him's like relationship, and like when he's like about to like lose it in the courtroom, it's like there's a musical number right before that, and like I feel like they kind of have like the whole bookend with That's Entertainment, like her shooting up during the musical number. I think it's like kind of representative of the whole movie. Like I don't know, I thought it was fun, and like also like I kind of have to add there's like another meta layer where it's like, this is what like Arthur Fleck thinks a musical is, and this is how he sings, because he's just kind of bad at it. But like, I don't know, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, as for the article, you said you read something about how like it was kind of made to like demonize a small version of fans or whatever. I didn't know about that at all. If I heard that beforehand, maybe it would have like changed something. But just at face value, I can see what Evan's saying. It is kind of annoying though that I think Todd said it was, but then I think Lady Gaga was interviewed and then she said no. Well, it's a movie, but then like the musical elements happen when like the words and the emotions get too much to be contained like in words, and then they can start singing. So for me, I'm like, well, I think it's musical, but if there's a debate there, the fact that the debate's there is like, it's kind of like, I wish that they on the board, they meaning like the people that made it, cleared it up.
Yeah.
That it was or wasn't, but I understand like they don't want to say it is, people are not going to want to see it, and then that's why you say, oh, I didn't want to hear, I was looking at my watch, I didn't want to sing, but it's like, well, I expected it to be a musical, so I knew they were going to have a lot of. I knew that.
Yeah.
But so it's like with that in mind, I was like, okay, I was expecting it. And like it kind of painted what Joker was like thinking, and then like of course something else happened, whatever. But like, yeah, which is interesting because I was mentioning to them like there was an ad that happened for this movie where Todd was talking about the first movie, he kills the guys in the subway, he goes to the bathroom, music starts playing, and then he dances. And we don't know what the music is, you know, it's just in his head. And I thought that, okay, that's really cool. I'm glad it's in his head. I don't want to know what it is. So the fact that they're making a musical is dumb. At that point, I was like, that's dumb. But then I saw it and it's like, I kind of get what it's saying. And I like what Evan said about how it's like, it's a musical to him. It's like kind of in his mind. I can understand that. I can see that. I can see how it's divisive, but I can see how like that's enough. And unfortunately, to really hammer it in, I guess, with what they're going for, they had to do it enough to the point where he was just telling Lady Gaga, like, please shut up. Like, I want to talk.
Yeah.
And, like, if they didn't have that, I'd be like, okay. Like, if she started singing at the end, like, he sang with her. But no, he was at his low point, so he's like, no, we're done. Like, the fantasy is done. Like, that stuff's done. But she was like, oh, you know, whatever. So, I don't know. So, I kind of got that. I don't want to be like the Joker meme, like, you wouldn't get it. But I kind of got that. Yeah. So, that was enough for me, like, okay, yeah.
I have nothing against musicals, and I expected there to be quite a few numbers in the movie. I just feel like it didn't contribute enough for me, I guess. Like, it was almost like a deterrence from whatever plot they were going for. Yeah. And I was just hoping that they were actually going to continue the story from the first one in a meaningful way. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he is the Joker. He is intrinsically tied to Gotham and all these other heroes and villains. Like, show him building an empire or doing something, you know what I mean? If you're going to call it the Joker.
Not that kind of world.
Yeah.
It's just weird, like, or show him being a crime mob boss or villain in some kind of way, you know what I mean? I feel like that's just, like, then just don't call it the Joker, make it something else.
To say, or you could just not call it the Joker.
Could call it Arthur, I guess. But, like, yeah, it's, to be fair, like, I cannot see...
Call it cab driver, I don't know.
Crime boss. It's like, this is, like, kind of like, if we're going with, like, the vibe of the first movie, this is, like, what would have happened after the
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hate to use the word realistic, but it's like, the dude murdered people, and then so what's going to happen in real life? He would go to prison, and then if he did what he did like he did on TV, he could plead like he was insane. So there would be a trial, and then he could go to an insane asylum. Like, that's what would happen in real life. So you could have him do other stuff, but, like, with that in mind, like, okay, could you just pad runtime with musical numbers on top of that? Sure, fine. But, like, I think for what they did, like, it was different enough, and I was like, okay, like, I guess I could see what they're going for, and I appreciated that. You know, because as far as, like, again, with the realism, which I kind of, like, you know, see it as fairly realistic, everything in the first movie I could pretty much imagine could happen in real life with someone like that. And with this, I would say almost the same thing. Like, you know, musical numbers aside, that's just someone's imagination. Yeah. But everything else that happened, we're like, I could see that, sure. And so that to me, like, that was enough to, like, satisfy me. It doesn't have to become a mob thing. But then I get what you're saying. Then why call Joker?
Yeah, why call Joker?
But then, like, the first movie, they changed the lore already from the felt like, okay, well, it's different enough, so I don't expect that they're gonna, like, do that. But then, you know, they introduced me.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
The problem with that is, like, when you're making this movie, that's why I feel like Todd Phillips, the person, probably was making a different movie and then decided, hey, there's some things about this that kind of line up with the Joker. I'm going to make this a Joker movie because you can mess with the Joker lore. It's been done numerous times. Like, there's different stories of how the Joker became the Joker. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Yeah. Just, I don't know. Make it good.
Make it compelling.
There's one more. Sorry. There's one more thing I do want to say. It's like I think there's an interpretation where you can say the Joker still is the villain of this movie, but it's just that the Joker isn't Arthur Fleck. Like, the whole idea of the Joker is, well, like, because, like, without, like, Lady Gaga egging him on and becoming the Joker again, there is, like, probably a slim possibility, but there's a possibility he could have gotten an insanity plea, like, with a decent, like, lawyer that he had and, like, gotten, like, not died at least. Or so in a way, like, the Joker kind of killed him, like, just that, like, the whole, like, the Joker's more of an idea than Arthur Fleck himself, so.
Which is what she loved.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
So, like,
and that's kind of like the climax of the movie. Is like, yeah, she was into the Joker, she wasn't into him, but, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So from that angle, I can get why they called it Joker, but yeah, it really was more of a movie about Arthur Fleck than, like, the Batman Joker that we in any meaningful way. Yeah.
A small note about the Hardy Dent actor. I don't know who he is. I haven't seen him before, but he was really good. I thought
he was good.
Well,
he was really good.
Yeah, it's just very subtle and, like, just super, like, yeah, it was great. It was really good.
And
Gary and he carried the movie.
Huh?
I said Gary and he carried the movie from, like, a supporting actor standpoint.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gary Puddles is so fucking good, and like, they nailed the scene where, like,
no, that was tense.
You know. Mm-hmm. And so I think I will say, like, the fucking Two-Face thing they did for Harvey Dent, very tasteful. It was a really a blink and you miss it. It wasn't like, this guy's Two-Face, he's gonna be the next movie. I like it.
Yeah. So damn. Yeah.
This is like the furthest we've been apart on a review, I think.
Maybe, possibly. Yeah, Joker's dividing families.
Well, Trap, right?
I think Trap was another one.
Trap, yeah, a little bit. Romulus, a little bit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Well, Romulus is mostly just me being divided. Everyone else
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, but so what movie are you gonna see next?